Irish potatoes is one of those vegetables that's a great vegetable to grow in your survival garden because it is loaded with calories and it is loaded with nutrition. It makes a great vegetable to grow in your garden when you're looking for sustainability. Hi, I'm Annette and welcome to Kitchen Garden Farmhouse. Today, let's build your garden. Let's go. For a more successful harvest, sprout your potatoes. When I went and bought these seed potatoes, I was very fortunate that these seed potatoes were already sprouted. So I did not have to go through the chitting process on these potatoes here. But there's just way too many eyes on them. So I'm going to take time and go through each potato and cut out all the eyes except for 2 on each potato. Because if you have too many eyes, you'll have more potatoes, but they'll be very small. Whereas if you have less eyes, say like just no more than 2, then your potatoes will be bigger. So that's what I'm aiming for here, to have bigger potatoes. As I went through each potato, I ended up cutting out quite a few eyes. So now because I cut out the eyes and some of the potato is exposed, I'm going to have to let them callus over for about a day or 2, just like you would if you were slicing the potato to make more pieces out of one potato to plant. Today is February the 6th and I'm in Central Florida, and this is absolutely a great time to plant Irish potatoes in my area. A good rule of thumb is to plant your Irish potatoes outdoors somewhere between 1 to 2 weeks before your last average frost date. So the month of February is a great time for a lot of the southern states to begin to plant out their potato seeds somewhere in the month of February. Irish potatoes is one of those vegetables that's a great vegetable to grow in your survival garden because it is loaded with calories and it is loaded with nutrition. It makes a great vegetable to grow in your garden when you're looking for sustainability. Irish potatoes is a cool season crop. They don't like it too cold though, and they definitely do not like it too hot. When the temperatures begin to soar around 80 degrees Fahrenheit or above, it will be time to protect your potato plants from the heat with shade cloth. Where in your garden will you be planting your Irish potatoes? Irish potatoes need full sun. They really like sun anywhere between 6 to 8 hours a day. How will you be planting your Irish potatoes? Will you be planting them in the ground, 5-gallon buckets, grow towers, grow bags, plastic containers, totes, nursery pots, cardboard boxes? We have so many options that we can choose from. Please leave me a comment below. Next, we need to pick out our seed potatoes. There's different places online that you can order them. You can order them from different farm stores. And also the grocery store may seem like an option, but those potatoes may be sprayed with a sprout inhibitor. I'm not saying it won't work because maybe you got a potato that was not sprayed, but there is a possibility they have been sprayed. A good thing about buying seed potatoes, it will come with a blue tag that represents it has been certified to be disease-free when you receive the potatoes. I'm going to be planting today red Norland seed potatoes. They are considered a late summer harvest. Red Norland potatoes are recommended for zones 3 through 9. Now let's talk about allowing your potatoes to chit, which is another word for sprout, before you plant them so they can have a jump start on their growing cycle. Now there are different ways that you can chit your potatoes. One method is to put your potatoes somewhere that's warm, say maybe around 60, 70 degrees Fahrenheit, and then to expose them to a little bit of light to induce the chitting process. You can plant your seed potatoes whole or you can slice them. Either way will work. Now if you leave many eyes on the potatoes, you will have more potatoes, but they would be very small. If you want your potatoes to be larger, just cut all the eyes off except for one. Definitely you got to have one, but maybe 2. If you do slice your potatoes, make sure you allow 1 to 2 days for the potato flesh to heal over or to callus over to help prevent diseases and rotting of the potato. When it's time to plant your Irish potatoes, they like a well-drained sandy loam. Now here in Florida, we have a lot of sand, so I at least got that on my side, but I have to add other things with it because it drains too good, washing out the nutrients with it. Now, because I'm going to be planting my Irish potatoes in containers this season, I'm going to have to make up my own soil, and I'll be going over that with you. This container that I will be planting my Irish potatoes in is approximately 12 inches deep and 14 inches across in diameter, which is a really good size if you're going to plant one potato in here. When you are preparing your soil, it is important that it is slightly acidic, somewhere between 5 and 6 on the pH scale. If this pH is too high, it can cause the potatoes to have something known as potato scab. So it's important to bring that pH down if your soil is too alkaline, and you can do that with sulfur. Now, if your pH is way too acidic, you can add a little bit of lime to bring it back up some. Okay, so I am ready to prepare my soil for my containers. I'm going to bring you in close and show you what I'm doing. Over here to my left is my native soil from Florida. It has a lot of sand in it, so that's going to be a good thing to add to my container. And then I'm going to add 1 gallon of this and 1 gallon of perlite to aid in the drainage also. Now, perlite is a natural product. It's from the volcanoes. It's been heated up, so it is a nice natural product. Next, I'm going to be putting in my own compost. This is about 9 months old. Compost is great for your garden. It gives you so many benefits. One, it gives you needed microbiology. And then last, I'm going to be adding a gallon of peat moss to my mix. This right here, I really like it for several reasons. One, peat moss by nature is acidic. So all by itself, the acidity of this is somewhere between 3 to 4 on the pH scale. So I'm putting 1 gallon of this, and this is going to help me bring my soil down to a nice acidic level without having to add extra sulfur in it. So altogether, this is about 4 gallons of different amendments, and my container is about 5 gallons. So this is going to work out good. So I'm just going to mix this all together. Those 4 ingredients together definitely has created a really nice sandy loam. Now, before I put it in the container, I do want to pre-moisten this. I want it to be the consistency of a wrung out sponge. The moisture content in this looks really good. So you see when I squeeze it, it's just like a wrung out sponge. Let's check the soil pH. The pH of this soil is about 6.4. I want it to be more around 5.5, so I'm going to have to make some amendments to the soil. What I did is I added more peat moss to my mix, and as you can see, it definitely brought the pH down to 5.6, so this is a good pH level to grow the Irish potatoes. Now, you could put sulfur in it if you had it. The only thing about sulfur is it does work, and it's very fast acting, but it's short-lived, and it's something you would have to reapply ever so often to keep that pH right where it needs to be. Now it's time to fill up the container. So as I put water in here, it is less volume because everything is now weighted down with the moisture of the water. And so with that, we do not want to fill it all the way up because we want to leave room here at the top to be able to heal up our potatoes to prevent them from turning green from the sunlight, which is toxic. So with that, next we're going to get into the fertilizers. Irish potatoes are not heavy feeders. However, they do require a certain amount of trace minerals and nutrients for maximum production. Irish potatoes do need nitrogen. However, they need more phosphorus and potassium over nitrogen because too much nitrogen on root vegetables can cause disease issues, and also it can cause the foliage to grow great but less growth in the tubers. For today's Irish potatoes, I'm going to be using Dr. Herb's Organic and Natural Vegetable, Tomato, and Herb Fertilizer. It has an NPK of 463. Now this 5-gallon container is a little bit larger at the top than 1 square feet. So however, I'm going to put approximately a 1/4 cup of the Dr. Herb's fertilizer here on top. I'm also going to add just a small handful of bone meal. And I'm just going to mix this in. Now, natural organic fertilizers takes a little bit of time of breaking down, the granular kind. But the potatoes, these potatoes here are late harvest, so they're going to take probably about 100 days. So way before then, this fertilizer would be broken down and ready to contribute to the growth of the potatoes. It's time to plant the seed potato. Now, I've already taken time to take off most of the little eyes, leaving 2 eyes per potato. I'm going to plant my potatoes whole. So I'm just going to put it down here in the soil and just cover it up. And then as it begins to sprout, I'm going to be adding more soil on top. This is not a sponsored video, and definitely there is also other good fertilizers out there besides Dr. Earth. But the reason why I like the tomato vegetable herb fertilizer from Dr. Earth is because it contains good probiotics, it contains good microbes and good mycorrhiza, which all contributes to a richer, nutrient-dense soil. I want to go over several more nutrients that's good for potatoes. Magnesium is one of them because magnesium helps build the cell structure of the plant. And you can get magnesium through plain old Epsom salt, magnesium sulfate. Now, I did not put Epsom salt inside of the soil right now. However, later when I begin to hand water my potatoes, I will be adding some Epsom salt to my water at that time because I'm not going to put any drip irrigation on my potatoes. I'm going to hand water these this season. Irish potatoes needs nitrogen to help stimulate leaf and stem growth. It needs phosphorus to help make the tubers to grow. It needs potassium to prevent black spot. It needs magnesium also to help with the cell structure. Manganese to add acidity to the soil if it's too high. And boron is very important because it helps the potatoes to absorb calcium and make it bioavailable to the plant roots. No matter where you're planting your seed potatoes, a good rule of thumb is to dig a trench about 6 to 8 inches deep. And before you put your seed potatoes in the trench, just make sure that you have amended the soil with whatever fertilizer or amendments you're wanting to use. After your seed potatoes are planted, it's a good idea to mulch them with something. Now here, I am mulching mine with pine needles, which also is on the acidic side. But you can mulch yours with ground up leaves or even straw. Thanks for watching, and let's grow food for life. If you'd like to see more videos like this, please take a moment to subscribe if you have not done so already. Leaving a like, a share, and a comment will help the channel to grow. Thanks again, and I will see you in the next video.